The Nintendo Switch, another popular latest gaming console made by Nintendo that was released in 2017. Now Nintendo has released a better and more flexible version of the original Switch called the Switch 2, with a bigger and more shinier screen and a lot more features. The Nintendo Switch released popular games, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Maker 2, Mario Party All-Stars and Jamboree, and more popular games released. The Nintendo Switch is now one of the most high-leading Nintendo gaming consoles ever released, along with the Wii and the Nintendo 3DS. Everyone around the world loves the Nintendo Switch, right? However, this story I'm about to tell you might change your opinion on the Nintendo Switch. Unlike before, unsettling and disturbing things happened to my Switch once, and I ended up buying the new Switch 2 afterwards. Last Friday, I was deciding to play my Switch after a long day at work. I was deciding to play Pokemon Violet. I turned my Switch on that was plugged into my TV. I got my controller set up and everything. I put the Pokemon Violet game card into my Switch. When I put it in, however, it gave me the game card could not be read error message. I was like, great, just great. My Switch never gave me this error before. Now what's going on here? I tried reinserting the game card over and over again for 2 minutes, but it still wouldn't work. It just kept giving me the error message. After 2 minutes, I finally got the game card to work. But however, when I started the game and it took me to the menu screen, I got the software closed because an error occurred message. I sighed in frustration as I said, why is my Switch doing this? It never gave me problems like this before. I went back to the home screen. However, when I did that, my Switch suddenly turned off. I turned it back on, but it was glitching a lot, and my controller was barely functioning. The visuals on the home screen were glitching and the screen was getting darker and more contrasted, and the controller wasn't working at all. Then all of a sudden it turned off again. I was shivering in fear as my heart was racing. Then when I turned it back on, my Switch took a turn for the worst. My controller wasn't working anymore. My Switch was flashing random colors. All of the game icons were gone, and my Switch was making weird crashing and buzzing noises. I was so scared out of my life. Then finally, my Switch turned off for the final time. I couldn't get it to turn back on. I was like, great, just great. My Switch is broken. Now I have to pay $400 to buy another one. 3 days later, I earned $200 extra cash at my workplace, so that means I can buy the new Switch 2. Later that day, I bought the new Switch 2 from Walmart, as it costed me about $400.32. I was so excited. I then ran out to my car and drove home. Once I got home, I set up my new Switch 2. After I got it all set up, I hooked up my new Switch into my flat-screen TV and started playing Pokemon Violet. This time, my new Switch wasn't giving me any problems whatsoever. Later that evening, I put my old Switch in my bedroom closet and never touched it again. Now I enjoy playing on my new Switch. I have to say it's a lot bigger and better than my old Switch one that I had. So that is my story, and goodbye.